Welcome to the American Institute of Healthcare Professionals Videogram on finding calm in stress. And this is Dr. Dominic Flaherty's course. My name is Mark Moran. I'm filling in for Dr. Flaherty. I'm the Assistant Executive Director at the American Institute of Healthcare Professionals. And this course is based on Paul Wilson's book on instant calm. And it also corresponds with meditation 325 / SM 560 course. Now, if anyone is just tuning in and they want to find a little bit of information about stress management, how to find peace and calm in the midst of the stressful storm they might be experiencing very quickly, this short educational video might be of some use, and it might also have information in it that can guide you to even more in-depth resources that could help you be able to find the calm that you might need when dealing with stress. Now, initially, stress, whatever stressor it may be, whether at work or school, what it does is activate the fight or flight response. Now, this is a very important thing to understand, that in the modern world, our fight or flight response really doesn't tell the difference between modern stressors instinctively and what our ancestors in the prehistoric days recognized as stressors. So there is a response within the sympathetic nervous system that tenses the body up, that increases the heart rate, that produces cortisol and other hormones that prepare the body to either flee or to stand and fight. Now, these are good in temporary doses, but if one is under a chronic amount of stress all the time, then these elevated levels of hormones and physical and physiological responses can become very negative for overall health. And they're also, quite frankly, unneeded for a stress in the office. In many ways, it's an overkill. So it's important to deactivate that sympathetic nervous system to stress, and to be able to find calm through a variety of stress management strategies. And that's what the basis of Paul Wilson's textbook is on, is finding that instant calm. Now, if one is interested in long-term, there's many things that one can take up: meditation, better diet, stress relieving herbs, EFT, the emotional freedom technique, hypnosis, massage therapy. But when in the moment, it's not so much dealing with stress over the long term, it's about dealing with stress in the moment and deactivating that sympathetic nervous system and introducing the parasympathetic nervous system, which reverses those effects for immediate stress and allows oneself again to find calm. So there's a variety of physical and mental techniques, which we'll briefly go through, not as much detail as Dr. Flaherty would, but you can review in Paul Wilson's textbook as well. This is meant to serve as a supplement. Of course, in the textbook, it's very important to note that power breathing is critical for any stressful moment. Whenever an individual is given horrible news, many times in hospitals, they'll be given like a bag to put over their head to breathe in. So deep breathing can reverse the shallow breaths that are associated with stress itself. It oxygenates the body more, and it allows the body to find a little bit of pre-crisis stress feelings, where one is not as on edge, where one is not as upset as through what the sympathetic nervous system would induce. So we all know that it is through a process of breathing deeply through the nose, a type of diaphragmic breathing where the chest actually expands, the chest cavity, and then a deep breath out. And just by simply following that procedure of a deep breath in through the nose, having the chest expand, and then breathing out through the mouth, one can begin to find some balance again and lower that blood pressure and lower that heartbeat and restore one to the initial parasympathetic nervous system levels of pre-stress. There are also other physical methods listed in Wilson's book. The jaw declencher, which is shown in the picture to the left. And there's also various ones of strategies called a calm demeanor through facial expressions. By displaying the facial expressions that are associated with being calm can kind of, in a way, backwire, reverse the feelings that are associated with an angry face. Also, when one is dealing with stress and trying to reverse it, walking slower, talking slower are all important steps, because in stress, individuals breathe fast, they move fast, they talk fast, they shake, they're nervous, anxiety sets in. And these are all physical attributes that we're trying to remove through walking slower, talking slower, and exhibiting a cooler demeanor in hopes of reversing what is going on internally. Now, there's also other calming exercises listed in Wilson's book, as shown in the first, a calm unfold, where you just bend and touch your feet. There's a variety of calming stretches listed in the textbook that you can utilize for yourself. And of course, also yoga and a variety of lotus forms, which are beneficial for an individual to find that inner peace on the spot. And sometimes it might involve, if in the office, closing the door and trying a few of these stretches and also some of the breathing. Now, what has been shown with acupuncture and also recently with the emotional freedom technique is that tapping or massaging certain points on the body can actually relieve stress. Now, we talked a little bit about jaw declenching, releasing the jaw, but there's also areas where you can touch the jaw. There's areas where you can touch the back of the neck, the breastplate, below the ankle. Reflexology and massages on the foot or on the wrists, or various facial areas and massages. Again, all listed in greater detail in Paul Wilson's textbook, and they can be utilized on the spot to help relieve stress and negate negative energy by accessing these points of release that are found in the body through either the touching, the tapping, or the massaging, as they are listed to the left on this particular slide. Now, there is also, besides the physical aspects, a variety of mental games that one can play within their mind to visualize, mental visualization, different outcomes, and also to help one become more calm. And in Wilson's book, there's a variety. A few of them are listed here. Big screen TV is one where you mentally imagine what's going on a TV screen, and then you can view what's being seen with yourself. There's another type of mental gymnastics, so to speak, referring to stepping into time and the 10-year plan. So you step into it, and then you think to yourself, how will this particular stress at this particular moment affect me in 10 years? And you can really gauge the importance, and you can compare past stresses even 10 years ago. Do you even remember them? How much did they affect you in that regard? Another one is universal perspective. And universal perspective is looking at it in the greater scheme of things. Very similar again to the previous. Also reframing things and trying to understand them in different ways and how one responds to them. It's also additional ways where you can control your worries through a worry list, where you list the various worries and you associate certain times for them, or you can symbolically burn them. So the idea of worrying being placed tangibly, the abstract worry, onto a tangible chart and seen and understood for what they are, and maybe even viewing him a little bit as a third person, how you would give advice, take advice from yourself itself. Now, there's also the idea of calm affirmations and positive words. The physiology of the body responds to certain things, just like the facial responses respond to what's going on. Well, certain words also affect us as they come in. So, like reframing, words need to be positive, not negative. To reframe is to look at it from a positive light. So instead of chaos, mentally repeat calm. Instead of anger, repeat love. And instead of loss, maybe chant win. Instead of fear, repeat confidence. So fear and imagination can create a lot of stress in your life that is perceived that actually doesn't even really exist. So by reframing, using calm affirmations, especially while you're doing the stretching, especially while you're working with various tapping points, can help. Matter of fact, in EFT itself, a mantra or a variety of words of the intended outcome are supposed to be utilized, are supposed to be used with the actual tapping points itself. Now, another interesting one, if you're in an office or you have a special place in your home where you meditate, you can utilize biofeedback. And this is basically using a certain place, aroma, sound, something that you associate with calm. So some individuals have a wave maker, maybe in their bedroom, or certain individuals in their office might have a certain type of candle that they can burn that gives off a particular scent. And these particular scents are associated in the mind with the past. And it takes the mind literally back to where some of the more positive effects were felt with that particular sensation. And in that, the mind starts to think, well, maybe the situation is not as bad as perceived. So it is very good to be able to utilize some of these biofeedback tools in regards to calming stress. Of course, if you cannot calm down, it's always best to remove oneself from the situation. Now, on this last slide, there's a few stress removers listed, and these are also found in Wilson's book. Worry beads, stress balls that you can squeeze, finger binds, music, ionizers and aromas, and of course, Zen Garden. And these are all things that can be, some of them can be even under your table in regards to worry beads or stress balls that you can squeeze. And these things release the tension. They allow the tension that is internally to manifest physically through a non-violent form. So these types of movements with the Zen Garden as well as again, the biofeedback with music and ionizers and various aromas are all very helpful strategies to remove stress in the moment. So ultimately, we want to lower worry and categorize worry to what needs to be, categorize our stressors, and in the moment, try to utilize some of these ways that are found in Wilson's book and in the course taught by Dr. Flary, SM 560/Med 325, and utilize these strategies to have a more productive life, but also a less stressful life. Hence, in increasing the positivity in our environment and allowing ourselves to have a more healthy lifestyle itself. Now, AIHCP offers a stress management consulting certification, and the particular course we've been referring to is one of the courses that exists in that. So be sure to check that out. We got the link below for the stress management program. We also have our phone at 330-652-7776. I do believe on there should be an additional 7. I apologize. And the email is info@AIHCP.org. So you can contact us any of those ways in regards to stress management certifications if you meet the qualifications to be able to help individuals face stress and deal with stress. And of course, if you're just watching this, just to learn a few things about stress, how it works, and how to calm oneself down on the spot, then this is some useful information for you as well. I'd like to thank you for listening on behalf of Dr. Flary, and have a good day.